I've spent the last year exclusively riding the Zwift Ride as my indoor turbo trainer of choice. During that time, I've covered around 4,500 kilometers on the roads of Watopia, and so I feel like I'm finally in a good position to share my thoughts. In this video, I intend to share what I love about the Zwift Ride, what I dislike, and some of the things that I plan to change. And I'm even going to make some of those changes in this video, so stay tuned. Some additional context before we get into the review and I share my thoughts. I ride the Zwift Ride multiple times a week and I use it all year round, although mainly during the colder months when it's not very nice riding outside. Both me and my girlfriend use this, so it gets adjusted constantly, and that's something that I'm going to get into later on in this video. Very quickly, before we get into the bulk of this review, I'm just going to talk about setup. Out of the box, the Zwift Ride was incredibly easy to set up. Now, I don't have any footage of the unboxing, that's not what this video is about. But what I can say is since owning this Zwift Ride, it's moved around and been set up in multiple spaces around the house. We've had it set up in the living room for a while. We've had it set up in this garage gym before I converted it. It was moved out into an office and now it's back here in the garage gym. The instructions are super easy to follow for both the Zwift Ride and the Wahoo Kicker Core, which it comes with, and I didn't need any help from anyone during the setup. Right then, so let's talk about some of the things that I love about the Zwift Ride. First and foremost, it has to be the adjustability. Out of the box, it is super simple to adjust the saddle height, the reach, and also the stack. The Zwift Ride comes with a little tool which is super handy, and that means you don't need to go looking for an Allen key if you want to adjust your fit on the bike. As I mentioned, both me and my girlfriend use the Zwift Ride on a daily basis, week to week, and it is super easy to adjust between our two fits. To make it even easier, as I ride in cycling shoes and she uses just regular trainers, we have dual-sided pedals on there which are nice and simple. One side of the pedals are flat and the other side are your standard SBD clip-in cleats. Moving on to the design and reliability. So I'll be honest with you, as soon as I saw the adverts for the Zwift Ride, I knew that I wanted it as my turbo setup. I think the design is really sleek, it looks the part, and it's also extremely sturdy. After 1 year of using the Zwift Ride, I can assure you that it's held up absolutely fine. I don't get any squeaks or anything along those lines. The drivetrain runs really smoothly and I've never serviced it, and that includes adding oil to the chain. And it still remains super easy to adjust the saddle and the stack and height without issue. Although I will admit I had to use a little bit of double D40 lubricant just to help with the handlebar reaches. It did get a little bit stiff, but it's completely smooth as butter now. The handlebar and controller experience has been a game changer for me. I'm someone who loves to dish out the ride-ons to my fellow riders when I'm riding around Watopia, and it's something I really struggled with in the past. In fact, I almost felt a little bit guilty when it was difficult for me to do it, and so I never really bothered. I have used the Zwift Companion app in the past, however, I sometimes struggle with the connectivity out here in the garage away from the house where we have our Wi-Fi set up. The Zwift controllers on the handlebars make it super easy to navigate the menu whilst you're riding the bike, and that can be to change the resistance during an interval session, or it can be to stop and change your bike setup whilst you're on the go. I don't need to use a keyboard or reach down to touch the laptop. I can do everything there from the comfort of the saddle. Another thing which is quite unique to the Zwift Ride is the fact that you can basically use it like a bicycle jig. And what I mean by that is you can adjust the stack and reach of the Zwift Ride to either suit your riding style, the type of ride that you want to do, or even potentially mirror the geometry of a bike that you're interested in buying so you can get an ideal for the fit before you go ahead and spend your cash. I actually did this before making the choice and pulling the trigger on a new road bike. I looked at the geometry from across different websites like Giant and Canyon, and played around with the stack and reach of the Zwift Ride to get a rough idea of how it might actually feel when I'm sitting on the bike. Now obviously the best thing to do in this situation is to go to your local bike shop and try it out, but for some retailers like Canyon, that's not always possible. So it's up to you. You can either treat that as a hack or a bodge, but it helped me choose which road bike I eventually decided to buy. So what's it actually like to ride the Zwift Ride? Well, for me, I absolutely love it. I've used the Zwift Ride from everything from nice, easy Zone 1 free ride spins around Watopia, all the way through to absolutely throwing down, giving it my biggest beans on a big sprint and trying to drop some watt bombs. I find the Zwift Ride to be pretty comfortable for the easy stuff and also stiff enough when you really want to throw down and put in a big effort. To me, that's the best of both worlds, and for the type of riding I do, I really can't complain. So let's talk about some of the things that I don't actually like about the Zwift Ride. If I'm honest, the list is really short. My biggest gripe with the Zwift Ride is actually the cockpit or the handlebar area. For me, I just do not find it very comfortable. I do a lot of long rides on Zwift. I'm talking 3-4 hours plus. Unlike your typical hoods on a road bike, these are not soft or rubberized. They're a hard plastic. On those long rides, I find that I have to ride with a towel resting across them. Otherwise, over time, my hands just start to feel really sore, and you can actually see the imprint of the hoods where I've been resting on them. And it's a similar story when it comes to the handlebars on the Zwift Ride. On some of the longer easy rides, I like to ride with my hands on top of the handlebars, and unfortunately it's just really difficult to do on the Zwift Ride. The handlebars are really narrow, and the bar tape that Zwift have used on the Zwift Ride, it feels really thin and there isn't a lot of sponginess to it. The only other thing I dislike about the Zwift Ride is that it isn't compatible with any gradient simulators. My hope is that in the future, Zwift do some type of collaboration, perhaps with Wahoo, to create a gradient simulator for the Zwift Ride. I'd be very interested in trying that, as I find that I'm using completely different muscles when I'm climbing compared to riding on the flat. Now I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, and it's only a minor gripe, and it certainly isn't something that would put me off from buying the Zwift Ride. What are the things that I would like to change, or I am going to change about the Zwift Ride then? Let's talk about the thing that I would like to change first. So the thing that I would like to change is actually the cranks. I was quite surprised when the Zwift Ride was released that it didn't actually come with adjustable cranks. That one of the selling points of the Zwift Ride is its adjustability and the fact that it can be used between multiple members across a household. I was really surprised to see that it come with standard 170mm cranks. That's not too bad. I know a lot of size medium bikes these days come with 172.5, so it's a bit of a middle ground, but I believe it should come with adjustable cranks as standard. When I actually bought the Zwift Ride, Zwift didn't offer the adjustable cranks, and I have seen that they are now available. It's something that I might pull the trigger on in the future, given the fact that I ride with 165mm cranks on my road bike. It'd be nice to get that consistency across all of the bikes that I ride. However, I really do think that it should have come with the Zwift Ride as stock. Moving on to the things that I am going to change, and I'm going to do both of those in the video today. It's the handlebars and also adjusting the static comfort. I went out and got some drop bar handlebars to fit to the Zwift Ride. There's two reasons why I decided to do this. One, to address the comfort issues I talked about earlier on. I opted for a flat top handlebar, so it's a bit more comfortable to rest the hands on the long ride, and also something slightly narrower too. The stock handlebars on the Zwift Ride measure 42 centimeters, which is a little bit wide for me. I typically ride with 40 centimeters, and definitely for my girlfriend who's much more petite than me. I went with something in the middle, something that we can both use, and went for some 38 centimeter handlebars. They were extremely easy to fit to the Zwift Ride, and it's nice to see that Zwift have created the cockpit in a way that can easily be changed if you want to. Moving on to the static comfort then. Generally speaking, I find the Zwift Ride really quite comfortable. But anyone who has spent 3 to 4 hours on the turbo will know that things get a little bit uncomfortable after a certain while. When you ride a regular bike on a turbo trainer, you typically have your front wheel taking away some of the fatigue from your wrists and your hands. Now you don't have that with the Zwift Ride. It's very static at the front. I didn't fancy buying one of those big rocker plates as they look a little bit bulky, and I like to move the Zwift Ride around so I can easily clean it in the garage. Instead, I opted for these tennis ball adapters that fit on both the Zwift Ride and the Wahoo Kicker Core. They were super simple to fit, and I'm not saying that they are life-changing. However, what they do is just take away some of the fatigue from both the front end and the back end. So after 1 year of use, and with all that I've said so far, would I recommend the Zwift Ride? It is an absolute definite yes from me. I think it's a fantastic bit of kit that really looks the part, is great to ride, it's very adjustable no matter if you're short or tall, and the Zwift controllers make it really easy to navigate around the game and through the option menus. One of the biggest selling points to me is the fact that I can leave it here and I don't have to faff about taking my bike on and off if I want to use it outside. I'll leave it here in the space, and whenever I want to jump on Zwift, it's just there. And I promise you now, some days that will be the difference of you getting in your session or you not getting that done. By the time that this video is released, Zwift will be doing the biggest ever sale on the Zwift Ride from the 26th of December. In the January sale, you can get $300 off the Zwift Ride if you're in the US, or €200 or pounds off if you're in the UK or the EU. I love Zwift that much that I actually signed up to their affiliate program. So if you're interested in getting the Zwift Ride, there are some links down below. So if you want to have a look at what deals are available on the Zwift Ride and also the Wahoo Kicker Core, click the links down in the description. If you click those links in the description, I'll get a small little kickback if you go ahead and make the purchase, and that will help to support the channel and making future videos. I want to make it quite clear that in this review, all of my words are my own, and this has been my honest opinion. And I would highly recommend the Zwift Ride for anyone looking to take the indoor training setup to the next level. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions that you have on the Zwift Ride or my setup down below in the comments. Thank you.